Doug Krentz with Besser Company. I'm in the mechanical engineering department, and I'll be helping answer your questions today regarding the new ASV vibration from Besser. So as soon as we get some questions in, we can go ahead and start answering those. In the meantime, I can talk you through a little bit of how the system works. Uses a standard Besser mold with a standard Posipack shaft. It uses all the standard attached vibrator weights, and basically all you have to do is pull off your sheave, and then we can attach the drive shaft directly to it. No modifications need to be done to the vibrator weights. The coupling here we have is a two-piece coupling that's attached, so it's relatively quick removal with the, if you have air tools and stuff like that, it certainly speeds things up a lot. Then it comes through to a flexible drive shaft. You have a rubber disc coupling here that's connected to a splined shaft that allows for any movement of your mold front to back and up and down. It takes a lot of the play out of the system. It doesn't load the vibrator motor, so that's what we're mainly trying to do, is keep any shock from going down this drive line, and that's what the spline is helping us do. We go from here to the other end. We have another rubber disc coupling and an overhung load bearing that we have in here, and then we have another coupling in here to attach the servo motor to the drive shaft. This system is a very responsive system and very repeatable. The goal when designing the system was to have starts on the vibrator motors faster than a Bescadine vibration system. So it does achieve faster vibration, and to fully synchronize the vibration. Both motors will be fully synchronized during starts and stops within, I'd say, less than a degree. So that's the kind of the design criteria we had for it. The motors are common between the VibraPack, Dynapack, UltraPack, and SuperPack machines. It's all the same size motor, so it's very easy if you have a lot of different types of machines to be able to stock replacement components for it, depending on what size machine you have. Currently we have a mold lock system on this particular mold, and there's very little modification that needs to be done when we're running mold locks. We have you can't really see it from there, but we have a UHMW spacer that goes in here, and that's just bolted in to where the mold set down pads are on the other side, and that just keeps the mold centered left to right. Also on your VibraPacks and SuperPacks, pin guidance is what we want to use on that, if at all possible. It does a very good job of keeping the mold centered and moving straight up and down. Let's see, what else can I talk about on this? The speeds are also adjustable during the cycle. You can have different feed finish times, or finish speeds, I should say. So you can run different feeds and different finishes. And then you can also do a stop cycle in between there if you'd like to too, when you're, like, let's say running pavers and you want to stop the vibration while the feed box is retracting off of the mold, so then you can, you're not blowing all the material out of the mold. So that's also some of the flexibility that this system offers over some of our other systems. How we typically would change a mold, you decouple this coupling right here. This is the coupling half that clamps to the vibrator shaft, and then this just decouples right from there, and you can swing the vibrator motor completely out of the way. So this is the bottom half. You can see where the key is here. That's what fits right into your vibrator shaft. And here you can see the splines spline coupling here that allows you to, it allows for the float, and it also allows for 18047 sidebars or the 20047s. So you can, you just slide them in and out. So there's really no changing of anything really between the two different sidebars when you're switching molds. So when you're doing your mold change, that's going to swing completely out of the way, leaving the mold, as you can see, free to come all the way out of the machine. Then when you, yeah, we can, being these are keyed shafts, typically if you put your vibrator weights in the same spot every time, you won't have to zero the vibrator motors pretty much ever. The first time you set the machine up, you would zero them, and then from then on out, as long as you don't take the drive shaft apart or anything like that, or then anytime you change a mold, it's always going to be zeroed. So you never have to worry about monkeying with it from mold to mold. Now normally when you do zero the vibrator weights, I would use an angle finder. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. Just to find zero on each one, you'll set zero, and then you'll push a button on the screen, and it'll say the vibrators are then zeroed, and you know that they're fully synchronized all the time then. This side shows the covers installed. This side, we left the covers off just so you can see the drive line better. On the covers, we have a sliding front end on it, and what that does is it keeps all the material from spilling onto the coupling area. A lot of times you'll notice on some of the other block machines, you'll spill a little bit off from the sides of the fence, and it'll hit the shivs, and then you'll be blowing material all over the place. Or with this, you can just you'll slide that up, and then there's a jam bolt on the bottom here. You can tighten up, and then that keeps that cleaner, and it won't spread so much material around the plant, and it makes it a little bit safer not having the stones flying off of the driving shafts there.
You can talk about maintenance, expected maintenance.
Okay. Typically the maintenance on the system is going to be quite low. There's the rubber donuts, or rubber disc couplings I should call them. That's going to be a wear item. They're a relatively inexpensive piece. They're used in all of our newer machines. Anything with the servos use it. Our paver type machine, our servo pack uses these couplings, and now this also uses it, and they do a really good job for us. The only other replacement thing may be the key. It's just a bolt-in key that goes in. They're very inexpensive. And then we have inside this box, we have there's a coupling in here as well, and it's a servo type coupling, and there's an elastomer in there, typical to any like Lovejoy type, spider type coupling, but it's a compression type fit in there, so it's a really low backlash. And that's about it for maintenance on the thing. With the bearing in here is sealed for life. That should go, I'm going to say roughly 1 million cycles before you have to change it. And then you just replace it with another one. It's just a double roll ball bearing in there. There's nothing real special about it. So it's a real low maintenance system. And it works really well. We've got some testing in place. Right now, we're up to, in a plant, we're up to around 350,000 cycles on the machine. And we also did quite a bit of in-house testing before we put it on that machine. So we've also cycled it in-house around 100,000 cycles. So that's the amount of testing we've done on it to date. We haven't seen anything out of the normal on any of the components yet. It seems to run very well. The mold wear, it's going to be a little better than any of the other types of vibration we have due to the the starts and stops. The fully synchronized starts and stops is really what makes this system nice. You don't have any of the left to right fighting of the vibrators during start or when you're shutting them off. So the mold is going to typically always be going straight up and down, and it really comes into synchronization fast, and when it stops very quickly. So it's very well under control, and it's a very repeatable system. If there's any other questions, I'll be glad to take them.
Say that again. How long did it take to install in the plant?
Typically, we've done one installation so far. So the one installation took roughly a day to take off the existing vibration system and put on this system. On the Dynapacks and Ultra Packs, Super Packs, it's very simple to, this block right here is where it mounts to, and basically you normally have this upright, it's on the outside of the frame. We moved it to the inside of the frame, and then you just bolt this whole assembly on. So really, as far as mechanically goes, it's very simple. And then you can see the two bolt holes here where the Bescadine vibration was, and you just remove that. So it's a very, very simple retrofit. There's not a lot of, it's basically a complete bolt together solution. There's no welding or burning or anything like that has to go on the machine in order to swap this out.
Okay.
There will be a secondary panel that goes with it, a smaller one that would handle all the servo drives and that sort of thing. And that would be just installed wherever you want in your plant, typically by the main panel, I would suspect.
What kind of speeds can we run?
On the speeds we can run on the motors, these servo motors will allow us to achieve speeds well over 4,000 RPM. Typically, with a greased vibrator bearing, we still want to limit it to 3,000 RPM. Now, if we wanted to go to an oil type system, which we have available, we can run these. We haven't tested it or proven it yet, but we feel we can run speeds of over 4,000 RPM. Now, when you do that, you have to make sure your vibrator weights are smaller when you do that, because you'll get way too much centrifugal force from the 9,000 or 11,000 pound shafts. So the weight goes up significantly with the change in speed.
That was the last question. Thank you
Okay.
for participating.
All right, well, thanks for going through this presentation with me, and have a great day. All right.